This is section 815. We're going to find the missing side using the three basic trig ratios. So we're going to use the three basic trig ratios to find the missing side. Now, as a reminder, we have names to the corresponding angle. So if that's my angle, I name this my opposite side. I name this my adjacent side. I name this the hypotenuse, which is always opposite the 90 degrees. And the ratio of those different sides, so if I wanted to do opposite to the hypotenuse, we call that the sine ratio. The adjacent to the hypotenuse, we call that the cosine ratio. And then the opposite to the adjacent, we call that the tangent ratio. And this is what it looked like, right? Sine of theta is written like this. Cosine of theta, it's written like this. Tangent of theta, it's written like this. And so we use a mnemonic to kind of help us memorize this. We use SOHCAHTOA. This represents the sine ratio, the cosine ratio, and then the tangent ratio. We're going to use those to find the missing side. So to find x, I need to look at the given information according to the given angle. So this is my given angle, so this is my adjacent, and then this is the hypotenuse. So I need to think to myself, SOHCAHTOA, which one has the adjacent and the hypotenuse? That would be my cosine ratio. So you set it up. My cosine of the angle, so cosine of theta, equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Now that we've set up the equation, you can go through and solve it. So x is in the denominator. How do we get it out of the denominator? You multiply, because it's division, right? It's the opposite of division. So that cancels out. And so now divide cosine 31 on both sides. Now with this statement here, this is where you enter it into your calculator. So you're going to do 20 divided by the cosine of 31 degrees, and you're going to get 23.33. We're going to do 2 decimal places, and so that is the side. All right, let's look at this next one. We're going to pretend like that's not there. So with this given angle, we have our opposite and we have our hypotenuse. So opposite and hypotenuse, that's going to be my sine. So I'm going to say the sine of my given angle equals opposite over hypotenuse. Multiply both sides by 13 to get it out of the denominator. That you enter in your calculator, and when you do, you're going to get 8.7. It's going to be x because you're going to round. For this next one, I have my given angle, I have my adjacent, and I have my hypotenuse, so this is going to be cosine. So that's going to be the cosine of my given angle equals adjacent over hypotenuse, which is x. Solving for x, I got to get it out of the denominator. And so x equals 44 over cosine of 17. You enter that into your calculator. And I'm just going to save time. And so for this one right here, for this given angle, I have my opposite and I have my hypotenuse. So opposite and hypotenuse is going to be sine. So I have the sine of my given angle equals opposite over hypotenuse. Get x out of the denominator by multiplying by it. Divide both sides by sine 70. And you enter that in your calculator. So conclude today's lessons. What did we learn? We talked about how to find the missing side of a right triangle, and we do that using our sine, cosine, and tangent ratios. What does SOHCAHTOA mean? It means the sine of your given angle equals opposite to the hypotenuse, cosine of the given angle equals adjacent to the hypotenuse, and tangent of the given angle equals opposite to the adjacent. This does conclude our lesson. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments.